Betu Foundation, within this short period, has changed my life so much in terms of letting me realize that I've got a long way to go in this world.
The three main tenets of the foundation are healthcare, education, and empowerment, and specifically empowerment of women. We feel that these are the basic building blocks of a sustainable society. When we decided to be involved in Ghana, we wanted to make sure that the areas we're involved with are truly areas of need. We wanted to find areas where we had appropriate partners and where we could be effective in our mission. Tumu is a typical village environment. You got these dirt roads, dirt houses, people who live in abject poverty, very few modern resources, and one health facility that is extremely impoverished.
She looks like she has a Dakar cystitis that may be related to a tumor.
The hospital in Tumu is very basic. You have children with malaria next to children who don't have malaria, and there's no mosquito nets. You know, the provisions are so poor, but the enthusiasm is there.
There's only one doctor for the whole region, 120,000 people. So most of the care, from surgery to deliveries to prenatal care to infectious disease care, is provided by nurses.
That will connect onto the mask.
When we were here in November, the team trained the nurses to provide non-invasive respiratory therapy. And since then, over 90 lives have been saved, and all of it has been done by nurses.
They say that you just made a huge impact, especially where people come in from so far. People can be walking for 10 miles with incredibly ill children, and looking back through the medical records of the children that have used the ventilator, it's inconceivable how robust these children are.
The findings in Tumu have been extraordinary. There's been nearly 100 patients ventilated. These are small children, mainly under the age of 5. And since instituting this program, they've had only 3 deaths. So they've moved from a 14% mortality rate to a 3 to 4% mortality rate over a period of a few months, which I cannot think of anything I have done as a doctor that has had more impact than this. It's so hard to communicate in these areas. There is no electricity, there's no running water. The radio station in Tumu is a lifeline.
On our second day there, we had an interview at the radio station where I was able to articulate exactly the kind of work that I do.
Good evening, our charity is for FM 107.5. This evening we have people from Betu Foundation in our studios, and I'll be talking to them about what they do.
My subspecialty is oculofacial plastics. So we were looking for patients with traumas or tumors or children with abnormalities of the face that we could possibly help.
Latif is a 6-year-old boy who, at the age of 8 months, unfortunately crawled into what I'm sure was the local family's fire pit and was terribly burned. Across his face, across his left arm. His arm is now fused to his chest wall. His eyelids fused open from the burns, and he's not blinked in over 5 years.
Latif's story is a good example why the radio is so paramount to the regional life. Latif's father heard through the radio and rushed his son the next morning to see us. The sad part is that this affects more than just his physical health. He hadn't been able to go to school. Children didn't want to be around him, didn't want to touch him, was chastised. So without education, without a social network, without health care, you have all the cards stacked against you. It was overwhelming, to see a child who's gone so long without any kind of help. Had this happened elsewhere, he could have received care very quickly.
What we're going to do for him is we're going to fix the eyelids for him. That's not a problem. So he's going to need at least 3 grafts.
So we're going to bring the child and place him on this table. The weather's so hot, it's hard to put on gloves. It just sticks to your fingers. Look. It's like 100 degrees here.
It's taken 5.5 years for him to make it to the OR, so we don't know when the next time is that he could afford it or make it there. So we're trying to maximize whatever we could offer in one session.
Don't go any further up. Yeah, stay.
Yeah, you want to stay parallel to the lid margin. You don't want to. Right. It's going quite well. The important thing is that I think he's not going to go blind as a result of this surgery. Right now, we've released the arm about, give him about 30-degree more motion. We got some tissue from his abdomen, which was quite interesting. He's got some tribal marks on the abdomen, and we had to try to skip those marks. Tell him everything went fine. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope the kid does well, and we will be in touch to make sure that he's recovering well.
This moment of having this surgery will really change his life. His eyelids and his eyes will look normal. His arm is released. Of course, there's a long road to go, and he'll be able to start school. That is life-changing in and of itself. So I think the potential for him to develop is now truly changed as a result of this.
It's something that we have accomplished, and I'm so proud of the Virtue Foundation team, proud of the Sisala people, and also proud of Latif and his family for making the efforts to come and test what the Virtue Foundation has for the world.
Virtue Foundation believes very strongly in empowering women, and our mission cuts across sectors: healthcare, education, economic empowerment, and justice. My hope for Virtue Foundation is that we'll be able to continue to change more lives, and that we can expand the message. True global change begins within each of us, one person at a time, one act at a time.
I hope that when we come back 10 years from now, that people are having better lives with less trauma and better opportunities and more hope. We can't fix everything, that has to be done locally. But if we've taken a small part in that, even if it's a few lives and on a small scale, I think it would be considered mission accomplished.